I don't know how old she is, but she's right out of college. I bet she's 22, Jazz said, leaning into the wheel, gripping it like a race car driver, throttling it like a throat. What are you doing? This last because Howie had fished his cell phone out of his pocket. Calling the sheriff, man. This is his department. Like, literally. Jazz risked taking one hand off the wheel long enough to snatch away the phone. Hey, Howie complained. You call G. William and one of two things will happen. One, he won't believe us and we're right back at square one. Two, he'll totally believe us and he'll send 1,000,000 squad cars over and that'll scare this guy off. Isn't scaring the guy off a good thing? Howie asked, reaching for the phone, but Jazz dropped it between his legs on the seat. No. We want to stay one step ahead of him. But he has to stay on the same path. Get it? So if he thinks we don't know about Ginny, we get there. We ask her if she's noticed anything weird lately, like some guy following her around. If she has, then we tell G. William what we think, and he can put some undercover guys on her or something. If not, we can still ask her about any other actresses with her initials in town. Faster than breaking into school to check the records. Ah, and now the reason you brought me instead of Connie becomes clear, Howie grumbled. Whenever it's illegal, there's good old Howie. Jazz threw him a grin. Your life would be so boring without me, and you know it. Yeah, well, if you don't want to scare this guy off, you should probably slow down. If we careen into Mrs. Davis's parking lot like a bat out of hell, he's going to think something's up. Good point. Jazz tapped the brakes, and by the time they'd gotten to Ginny's, the Jeep was moseying along like any other lazy car. Right after casting her for the crucible had been finalized, Ginny had invited the whole cast and crew to her apartment for an informal read-through and getting to know one another session. Jazz had lurked around the kitchen, uncomfortable, being crammed into the tiny apartment with so many other kids. He'd watched Connie as she effortlessly fitted from one small cluster to another, and by the end of the night he'd figured out how to mimic that behavior well enough to fit in. So the night had been a win for him, and now it was a double win, because he knew exactly where she lived. A small, 3-story apartment building inserted like a mismatched Lego block between a dry cleaner and a car wash. He pulled into the parking lot and pointed through the windshield. Her car, he told Howie, she's home. He parked, scanned the area quickly, nothing weird in the parking lot that he could see. No cars with out-of-state plates, no big vans or sedans that would make it easy to sneak a body away. Let's get this done and over with, Howie said with a nervousness that made Jazz want to laugh. Jazz handed Howie's cell over and killed the Jeep's engine. Let's go. Ginny lived on the 3rd floor. There was no elevator. Howie beat Jazz by virtue of his ridiculously long legs, which ate up stairs 3 at a time. I win, he chortled, knocking on the door. What exactly did you win? Bragging rights. Jazz let it go. They waited for Ginny to come to the door. Nothing. She probably didn't hear you, Jazz said. Knock harder. I bruise easy, Howie said, as if Jazz needed reminding. Jazz gently pushed Howie out of the way and knocked on the door. 3 quick, hard raps that couldn't be missed from inside. Maybe she's not home. Her car's in the parking lot. Wait. Jazz put his ear to the door. What? Shh! He waved Howie into silence, concentrating. From within the apartment, he heard something. Is she coming? Jazz backed up and his gaze drifted down to the keyhole. His stomach twisted. Was that a glimmer of reflected light he spotted? He leaned over and sniffed the doorknob, ignoring Howie, who wanted to know just what the hell he was doing. Glue. Filled with super glue. You need some alone time, Billy's voice whispered from the past. You need some special, uninterrupted time? Well, then you gotta make sure you can't be interrupted in the first place. You know what I mean? Block the doors. Block the windows. Make it so no one else can get in. And hey, bonus. When the cops come, they have to break in. And that makes a mess, and a mess is our friend, Jasper. Evidence gets lost in a mess. People get confused by messes. Jazz's heart raced. A high-pitched whine filled his ears. "He's here," he whispered.